Hey guys, we're back with Royce Brash here, and we were just talking about the conference championship games, and we were talking about who we think should start at quarterback for Minnesota next season. So I'll go ahead and ask you that question because we were just talking about it. Who do you think should start for them next year, and do you think they should re-sign Keenum or Bridgewater?
Well, if you look at their roster, they have Sam Bradford, Case Keenum, and Teddy Bridgewater on the roster. Mike Zimmer, the head coach of the Vikings, is going to bring back Bridgewater. Like, he has had a connection with Bridgewater since he drafted him. And if you remember back a year ago when he wrecked his knee, Mike Zimmer had a very emotional press conference regarding that. And then Case Keenum just blew everyone's mind this season. Right. With that being said, Sam Bradford's going to go. He's out. He has done nothing really this year. Case Keenum's been the backup solution. Bridgewater, I think, is another backup solution. And I really do believe they're going to make a run at maybe possibly trading for Smith.
Okay.
As in Alex Smith for the Chiefs, or trying to get Kirk Cousins and lure him away from Washington.
Okay.
With that being said, I've been hearing from, actually Adam Schefter reported it earlier on ESPN, Jacksonville is going to make a run for both of them.
That's interesting. Yeah, because they could definitely use somebody other than Bortles, even though he played decent in the playoffs, but they definitely could use another quarterback for sure.
I think with Bortles, they just need to get something going to assist him. You didn't have Allen Robinson this year. You lost him week 1 to an ACL tear. If you had him in this game, it would have been a lot closer than what it was.
Right.
So, again, I think starting for Minnesota next year, I believe it's going to be Bridgewater, but don't count out Cousins or Smith.
All right, that's a good point. Another thing I was going to ask you about is, so regardless what happens in the Super Bowl with the Eagles, you've obviously got Carson Wentz will be back next year, but with the way Nick Foles has been playing, he's been playing great as well. So what did they do with their quarterback situation?
They stick with Carson Wentz. I don't see them going anywhere else. If you look at Carson Wentz, he had, before he tore his ACL, an MVP caliber season.
Right.
He's thrown, as of that game, he threw the most touchdown passes of any Eagle in a regular season this season. He's the long-term answer for the Eagles, and I think Nick Foles knows he's going to be a backup. But in the end, Carson Wentz is by far the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, and in my opinion, is the best of the young quarterbacks in the league, with names like Derek Carr and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I completely agree. I think Wentz will be back next year, and Philly's the team to beat in the NFC. That's one heck of a defense, just one heck of an organization, how they've came back once again, just like Jacksonville in a couple year span. It's unbelievable. But with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get on to our Super Bowl predictions here and what we're looking to see. So early odds have New England favored by 5. But obviously we both have 1 seeds for the NFC and the AFC playing each other in the Super Bowl. So go ahead and give me your thoughts, Roy. So what are you thinking for the Super Bowl? Who do you want to see? And then who do you think will win and why?
Well, I think early on, I think the Patriots will try to get something going defensively against the Eagles, try to fluster Nick Foles a bit. But in the end, I see a couple things. The matchups to watch for me, look at the Eagles' front 7 against the offensive line for the Patriots. That is something that's really going to frustrate Brady, because you can put anyone on that front 7, on that front line for the Eagles, and they will get to Tom Brady no matter what you do. And that's just the big key to the game for the Eagles, get to the quarterback, but you also have to run the ball. I see the Eagles winning by at least 3, maybe a touchdown. A field goal or a touchdown. I see the Eagles winning. And a couple interesting things to point out. The Patriots have elected to wear white.
Yep.
For the Super Bowl. And the team that's worn white has won 12 of the last 13 years.
Interesting. Didn't know about that.
But who's the leading this year? Who's the leading MVP candidate?
Probably Brady.
So,
in my thoughts.
Yeah, and mine too, because I don't think anyone has been healthy throughout the year to challenge him. I'm just going to list off some names that have won the regular season MVP and have been in Super Bowl since 2000. Kurt Warner, Rich Gannon, Sean Alexander, Brady, Manning, Newton, Ryan. What do they all have in common?
They all wore white on the Super Bowl?
They all lost.
Oh, that's right.
So,
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So if you're a Patriots fan out there, root for someone else winning the MVP, because it's not looking good if he wins it.
So you said Manning twice.
Yeah, so he lost to the Colts in 2009, and he got smacked by the Seahawks in 2013.
Oh, he lost with the Colts in 2009. Okay, I forgot about that one. I knew he lost with Denver, obviously, and that was frustrating to watch. But yeah, interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, man. That's good. I like that, man. You bringing some stats in. I like that. I need to look that stuff up more. There's some obscure stuff. I like that. But I'll give you my prediction. So, it's going to come down to is New England the last 12 weeks of the season gave up the least amount of touchdowns to any team, and in the playoffs so far they have played very well. So they gave up 20 to the Jags last week, and then they gave up. Let me take a look at their the game before that. They gave up, they gave up to 14 to the Titans. The last 4 weeks in general, including 2 of the last weeks of the regular season, they gave up 16 to the Bills, 6 to the Jets, and then 14 to the Titans, 20 to the Jags. I don't expect to see that defense slow down. I know you have that Eagles offense in there. Nick Foles is going to be in the game of his life. And I got to say, Nick Foles has been a big surprise in the playoffs so far, because I actually thought the Falcons would beat them out. But that didn't happen. Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people go, why not? Because, Nick Foles, the way he's been playing everything, I just don't see a young quarterback like that being able to take down that tradition that New England has. I want the Eagles to win. That's what I want to see. But I'm going to go New England 27-23. And I think that you'll see both teams will put up a decent amount. I just think the Patriots are just going to keep rolling. I mean, the determination that franchise has and the amount of, like I said, players that can make plays and everything, tradition, I just don't see a young Eagles team beating them out. I don't think they're ready yet. Personally, I think they'll get there within the next year or two, because I think the Eagles are not going to slow down anytime soon. But personally, I just don't think that team's quite ready yet for a big Super Bowl game. I don't think they're going to get blown away at all. I know there's some people that think that, or that are considering making their score prediction a little bit more Patriots favored. But I think it's going to be a close game still, but I just don't think the Eagles will be able to pull it out there in the end. But they're definitely looking for revenge from 2004.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say I think the Eagles have the recipe that the Giants had the 2 years they beat the Patriots. Get to Brady with 4 people, and the way they can, and I have a couple names for you. Both Chris Long was a Patriot last year. He is on the Eagles this year. And LeGarrette Blount was a running back for the Patriots last year.
Yep.
He is also on the Eagles this year.
And he played pretty good when he was starting.
Oh, yeah. And not to mention, they traded for Jay Ajayi in the midseason, who played the Patriots twice every year as a Dolphin. So and I think that just the front 4 of the Eagles can do anything to get to them. And they have elite players up there.
True. I mean, I don't think New England's defense will be able to stop Foles completely. I think Foles, Jeffrey's going to have a big impact in the game. But one thing that was really interesting I was looking at, if you look at the Eagles defensively against wide receivers and running backs, they're top 5 on defense in the league. But if you look at them on tight ends, they're 28th. So if Gronk's back and healthy, which it looks like he's going to be, that's not a good sign for Eagles fans. Yeah,
but again, think about it this way. You have an Eagles defense if you can get to Tom Brady. And here's the key that I have. The Patriots are going to be playing a third-string right tackle against whether it's Brandon Graham or Chris Long, two elite pass rushers. That's going to be the matchup to watch in the game. Is the left end position versus the right tackle, and up the middle. If the two defensive tackles can beat the center and the guards to get to Brady, he won't have time to throw to Gronk, let alone Cooks, who will be flying down the field. So the way I see, if the Eagles do their job and run the ball like they should be totally fine.
Well, time will tell. It'll be a good game.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to check it out. Yep, it's coming up faster than you realize. I actually just started a pool with fast, those. You ever seen those Super Bowl pools with like 100 squares and like you write in like your initials or name or whatever? You buy like $1 a square, and So I started one of those up and having some of my friends, my family members, and some people from work get in on it. So. I bought a few, so hopefully I can actually win it this year and not lose like I've done the last 3 years. But
let's hope.
Yeah, I need to win some money. Okay, cool. So speaking of football, so we're going to go on to another issue here, and I know my 15 minutes are getting close to up for this segment. So Vince McMahon, if you've heard of that name before, it's because he's the WWE chairman. Decently big name in the world. So back in 2000, Vince McMahon started up the XFL. It is the Extreme Football League that was supposed to be, I guess, just like alternative to the NFL. I guess they thought it was, soft, and I think they still think it's soft. And he's bringing it back. So the league died after a year in 2001. But as of this afternoon, Vince McMahon said that the league is going to relaunch in 2020 with 8 teams of 40-man rosters playing a 10-game schedule. McMahon said the game will be faster, played in about 2 hours, and more fan-centric. It will not feature any crossovers from WWE talent. So I guess how it's going to work is you're going to have 8 teams, 4 teams probably from each conference. Each team will play everybody from their conference twice, once at home, once away, and then they'll play everybody in the other conference once. That'll make the 10 games. McMahon hinted repeatedly that players will be required to stand for the national anthem before games because he said he doesn't want to have any politics come in, which, hey, that's his call. He's making the rules for the league. He's the main guy. He also said he is not going to allow anybody with a criminal record. Quote, even if you have a DUI, will you not play in the XFL? That will probably eliminate some of them. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of quality goes in there. But I watched a 30 for 30 documentary on the XFL about a year ago on ESPN. And what's interesting, if you actually look at the XFL back in the old days, if I should say, there's a few things they did that NFL has actually used. So they have the Sky Cam. That's what they actually started that, and so the NFL has that now. They mic up the players on the field. They were the first ones that did that. Not just the NFL does that now, but you have the NBA that does it as well. So they definitely implemented some things that were new, and so they're talking. Let's see here. They're talking some players that could come on in. RG3. I heard that earlier. That's interesting. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes in the next 2 years or so as they try to start everything back up. But what are your thoughts on this here, Royce? What do you think about McMahon trying to start up the XFL again? Do you think it will succeed? How long do you think it will stay around? Do you think it will challenge the NFL at all? What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. It's one of those leagues that was kind of just like, oh, it's for fun. It's not like the NFL or anything. I would say it's probably not going to last long.
Yeah.
Because I heard today that their number one target to bring in was Johnny Manziel.
So I was actually just going to talk about that. So McMahon hinted repeatedly that players will be required. Okay, I already said that. He also stressed that the league will only employ players without criminal history. So Johnny Manziel is actually going to be rolled out because of all the crap that he's done and everything.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean that they won't go after him. I'm just saying. Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I don't know much about the XFL because it's been gone for so long.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. And I don't think it's going to challenge the NFL or any of the big league sports.
Yeah.
Closest sport to that, I think, is National Basketball Association. But
yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I was like, okay.
Right.
That's cool.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and get my thoughts on it here in a sec, but my 15 minutes are up, so I'm going to start up part 3 for you guys, so stay tuned.